Commissioner Hennis,
Present.
Commissioner Clark,
Present.
Commissioner Gregor,
Present.
Commissioner Main,
Present.
Commissioner Rossadillo.
Present. Thank you, and at that, I guess we can go and give you a minute to introduce yourself. You're our new commissioner. Thank you for coming on board.
Yeah, thank you. So Bobby Rossadillo, up until recently, was the president of the Chamber of Commerce. My wife and I operate and own CUNA Healthcare and CUNA Med Spa here in town. So I guess that's me in a nutshell.
Well, good. Well, thank you for coming on board. Next up is the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And up next is item number 3, public hearings.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we add business item 5A, case number 23-04-AN annexation, 23-04-S preliminary plat, and 23-17-DR design review for Aeromotor Cove to public hearing, item 3A.
Second that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, can we go back for just a split second? I know that we've moved on, but should we have moved for the correction of the previous meeting minutes? Was there a correction that needed to be done, or am I just missing something? In the agenda here, potential motions. Was there a correction that was supposed to have been issued?
No, that's
Oh,
just.
okay, that's just a general, okay, I
Yeah, that's
apologize.
just a general statement there.
I'd never seen that before. That's how much I pay attention, I apologize.
They changed. Okay. So up now would be the moved item to public hearings. Case number 23-04-AN, 23-04-S, and 23-17-D, design review for Aeromotor Cove. Troy?
Good evening, Commission. For the record, Troy B. Hunan, Senior Planner, 751 West 4th Street here in CUNA Planning Staff. So there are 3 applications before this body tonight. The application and the pre-plat will be a recommendation to the City Council, and the design review is for your decision this evening, unless the Commission wants to continue the meeting. Of course, it's all in your hands. The applications before you this evening request the annexation of approximately 4.83 acres into the city of CUNA. The subject property does qualify as it touches the city limits on 2 sides. And the applicant is also requesting preliminary plat approval in order to divide the land into 9 total residential lots, and new residential lots, and 3 common lots. The applicant seeks design review for the common lots as well for their landscaping. Public Works in Exhibit 2.22, which is a part of the packet, states that Public Works can support the Aeromotor Cove subdivision development with the conditions that are listed in the engineer's memo. Planning and zoning staff does agree with the Public Works assessment. The proposed project does touch the city limits, and it basically is nestled in between Greyhawk to the east and Greyhawk West to its west and south. Staff has reviewed the proposed annexation for qualification, which it does meet, and the preliminary plat and the design review for compliance with CUNA City Code, Idaho State Statutes 50-222, 6765, and CUNA Comprehensive Plan. And should the Commission recommend approval of the applications for annexation in the pre-plat, and if you approve the design review, staff recommends that the applicant be subject to the proposed recommended conditions that are outlined in staff's report. The applicant is here tonight, and I will also be here if there are any questions. I yield.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to come up and present? When you come up, please state your name and address for the record, if you would. And at the base of the microphone, if you touch that light and turn it green, then it records.
Just touch the red.
Yep.
Well, good evening, Commissioners. I'm Andrew Newell with Wilmer Engineering. I'm representing the client today for this project. Our address for our engineering firm is 4355 West Emerald Street in Boise, Idaho. Thank you, Troy and staff, for that presentation and presenting the project. There's really not a whole lot that I can provide on top of that. I think Troy did a great job. So I think with that, the client and we've reviewed the staff report and concur with the findings. With that, I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Any questions for the applicant?
Not at this time.
Not this time.
Not this time, no.
Thank you very much. Thanks. And with that, I'll open up the public testimony at 6:06. I've got the sign-up sheet, but I don't have any entries. Is there anybody here that did not get a chance to sign and would like to testify tonight? You would sign in here for me? Is there anybody else while we're waiting? Okay, thank you. Perfect, thank you. And you can take the podium if you'd like.
Hi, hello, Commissioners. My name's Cindy Geeson, and I live at 1363 South Ash in Kuhn, Idaho. I just briefly looked at this. I noticed a lot of the responses from the list of people you send out an email to about these things did not, didn't come back. So I'm just wondering if the number of children that will come with these housings will be provided with schools. I know there's already impacts. So whenever we annex in more land, that's a problem. I'm wondering about the sewage system in that area, because I know there's problems with that. And I noticed that the neighborhood meeting was done in June of '23. And that area seems to be pretty crowded with probably new developments. So I'm wondering if you were able to contact all the new people. It seems like a long time ago. And there wasn't much information about how they felt about it, but it seems right to tell them again. And another concern I have is this was supposed to be a hearing. And then when we looked at the update, it says it wasn't, that it's going to be a meeting, so people can't testify. So I'm wondering if that will be a problem for anybody who didn't come here because they couldn't testify anyway. So I just had a lot of questions. I usually like to see a map shown up there about what maybe you're going to do that later, because I know you have a lot of exhibits that kind of say what's happening. So just to come up here and say, do you have any questions, doesn't give you an opportunity to have any questions because you weren't told anything. So I just want to point those things out and for the record. Thank you.
Thank you. And to respond to a couple of those, the packet did include those that was online as well, for the preliminary plats and the landscaping items. So the packet that's available online to everybody does have all these exhibits for you to view ahead of time for future, just to let you know. Okay.
Change the process, so you can't just click on it and see it. So you have to download the whole package, and if I have a little smartphone.
Yeah,
If we're gonna continue to have a conversation, we need to have you up at the
sorry, please.
I'm aware of the new system that you're doing that just recently happened, that we have to go to the folders, and then we have to download each packet, or we have to select them. And for me, I don't, if I want to just look at one and I'm here, and the way it works for me is I can't download, I don't have enough data. And so I did download them. And I brought my PC in just so I could follow along, but We used to have a link, you know, you could just link and say, hey, go to that one. One document's not a big deal to look at. And typically, people show you what they're planning, where the place is, what kind of acreage is around it, you know. I saw all that, but what about the people who come here that aren't, you know, savvy to this process? I come here constantly, so, you know, I know the process, but what about other individuals? So I just like to see more transparency.
No,
and-
understood.
And
That-
easier methods for the
Yeah,
people.
understood, and that's why I wanted to make that announcement,
Okay,
how to
thank
get that.
you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope,
Do you have
thank
any
you.
questions? Okay.
Is there anybody else that wasn't on the list? I noticed we had one come in. Okay, perfect. Then I will go ahead and close the public testimony at 6:11. And that brings up our discussion. Does anybody have anything specifically to address?
I do have a couple questions, maybe for Troy or for the applicant. Is this a private road or is this a public road?
For the record, Troy B. Hoonan, Senior Planner, Kuna Planning and Zoning Staff. That's a very good question, Jim. The applicant has tossed around the idea of having private roads versus public roads. ACHD in their report actually suggests that it be a private lane, which then would not be under ACHD's jurisdiction nor the city's, and it would be up to the homeowners association to care and maintain into perpetuity the everything to do with the street, including the curb gutter sidewalk. So that's probably a hardy question for the applicant to see if they've decided what they're going to do.
Yeah, because if I recall, I think ACHD said if it's a public road, they're gonna require a cul-de-sac in it.
That is correct.
Yes.
The applicant can come up if he's. If you go ahead, state your name and address again, if you would.
Yep, again, Andrew Newell, Wilmer Engineering, 4355 West Emerald. Yes, we will be pursuing a private drive because of ACHD's recommendation in there. And speaking with the client, that is the route that we are gonna take, so. We've done private lanes before, so we have operation and manual. Manual's already ready for something like this, as well as language that we will put in the CC&Rs that will, you know, carry out this maintenance program.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, one other question. So if you're doing a private road with a turnaround, does the Kuna Fire Department approve that scenario?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So we'll work closely with them with that turnaround, and what's shown as the turnaround now is an international fire acceptable type turnaround. So.
Okay.
So it did say that you had 9 single-family lots here, and forgive me if this is a, you know, silly question, being my first meeting, but it, on the application, right under that, it says number of residential units is 73.
That's sorry for the record, Troy B. Hoonan. That's actually a mistake on staff's part. So the total number of units is 9.
Okay.
The application does reflect just 9 single-family, new family units.
Thank you for asking that question. I saw that too.
Any other questions for the applicant or staff?
No more.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm noticing the staff report as far as sewer is concerned. They're saying now with the update to the sewer infrastructure that there is capacity for these 9 lots. We are only talking about 9 residential lots, plus the existing home to remain. Or is that a home? Yes. Okay. Paramotor Cove.
Well, it appears to me to be an infill project. Maybe one other question for the applicant. What's the thought between having the large lots on the north side and the smaller lots on the south side?
Andrew Newell with Wilmer Engineering. That was just to provide some varying products for this neighborhood, so that every lot just wasn't the same size.
Thank you. Kind of buffers the big lot on that, you know, the existing house and the street too.
Yeah, it kind of buffers across the street too, so.
Yeah, I think it's a good example of an infill product where, you know, you've got some green space out front, so it's really not up against the road, it's kind of tucked back. I think it's laid out pretty well, at least my opinion. I don't really see any concerns.
No, I like this product, actually. I mean, anytime I see something bordered 5,000, I get a little leery, but that's okay. Yeah, so 6 5,000s and 3 10 to 12,000 square foot lots. 13.7 size.
Then if there's no other questions or concerns, I'd stand for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we recommend approval for case number 23-04-AN and 23-04S for the Air Motor Cove, subdivision project, with conditions as outlined in the staff report. Additionally, the road has been indicated to be a private road.
Thank you.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, I move to approve case number 23-16-DR with conditions as outlined in the staff report.
I've got 23-17-DR.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
Yeah, there's a typo in there. Let me rephrase that, Mr. Commissioner, or Mr. Chairman. I move that we approve case number 23-17-DR design review for Air Motor Cove subdivision, with conditions as outlined in the staff report. Additionally, the roadway is to be a private road.
seconded.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And that motion passed, well, at least our part of it does. And with that, I have no other business items. Is there any other additional reports from staff?
Nothing this evening.
Thank you. For the record, that was Troy Behunin.
Yep, sorry. For the record, Troy Buchanan.
All right, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?